Hello everyone. In this session, let us understand the concept of super keyword with respect to the concept of constructor. Inside a class, when we have a specific argument constructor created, and when we inherit from such a class, then subclass has to create a constructor with argument, which is calling the constructor from the parent at the first line. So let us understand this concept by taking an example. Let us create a class, say class 1. And inside the class 1, let us say we have an integer num1, and then we have a constructor public class 1, which is accepting the argument, say int a, from the user, and then value from int a is going to get passed to the num1 field of this class. So this is the argument constructor from class 1. Now let us create class 2, which inherits from class 1. So we'll use extends class 1, and as soon as we say class 2 extends class 1, we see this error over here, which is saying that we have now an no argument constructor in class 1, so class 2's constructor should call it. So we can use this quick fix over here. We should have a no argument constructor in class 2, which is calling the constructor of class 1, and then if required we can add the other code over here. So what I mean to say by that is, now class 2 has to have, it is compulsory for class 2 to create a constructor with one argument at least, which is getting passed through this super keyword to the constructor of the parent class. So what happens over here is, when we try to create the object of class 2, first thing gets executed is the constructor, and then class 2's constructor will accept one integer argument, and that integer argument's value will be passed through this super keyword, which is actually saying that call the constructor from the parent, which is class 1. So this value from a will be used to execute the constructor from parent over here. So first thing that will get executed when we create the object of class 2 is the constructor of the parent, that is from class 1, and then if you have some other code in the constructor of class 2, then that will get executed. So for example, let us say we have int num2 over here, and then we can add another argument b, and then num2 will accept the value from argument b of this constructor. Num2 will accept the value from argument b of the constructor class 2. If there is no constructor in class 1, like no argument constructor, then there is no need to create any constructor. You can create or you can just leave it, because then by default an empty constructor will get executed, so there is no need to create any explicit constructor like this. But if there is any constructor, then in that case we have to have. Now there is a loophole over here. If class 1 still provides a no argument constructor, like for example public class 1, so if class 1 has constructor overloading and then it provides another constructor which is a no argument constructor, then for class 2 it is a choice. Class 2 can say that I will use the no argument constructor, and in that case it is not compulsory, there is no error. For class 2 there is no compulsion to create an explicit constructor which is calling the constructor from class 1, which is this one. Now in this case, by default this empty constructor will be called whenever we create the object of class 2. Still constructor from class 1 will get executed, but it will be this one in that case, the default one. But when we do not provide this choice of having multiple constructors, then it is compulsory for class 2 to add that explicit one, to add that explicit constructor over here. Okay, so as simple as that. Let me add it again over here. So the super keyword over here implies call the constructor of the super class with whatever arguments. So for example, if super constructor is taking multiple arguments, we have to have those multiple arguments in the subclasses constructor as well.